Okay, right, new topic today. So we're going to be talking about charts and graphs for this thing. So we're going to start off by just doing basic tally charts. A lot of you probably did them in primary school. Then we're going to move on to pictograms, which is just something that's a little bit different. They're very similar to tally charts, but we're going to go through that in a bit. Might have done a little bit of this in primary school as well. Bar charts, as well as drawing bar charts as well. Okay, first of all, let's start on this, shall we? Tally charts. Now, we've got a load of information here. So let's say we've asked a few students how many siblings that they've got, and this is what they said. So this person didn't have any siblings, only child. This person's got 3. This person's got 2, and so on and so on. And all we're going to do is represent this in a tally chart. Okay, right. So first of all, we need the chart itself. We need a couple of titles. So let's say number of siblings here. Number of siblings. Here we're going to do our tally. And then we're going to do an extra bit at the end, but we'll leave it until we need to see how much tally space we need. Okay, first of all, what we're counting. So we're counting the number of people that have no siblings whatsoever. We're counting the people that have 1 sibling, 2 siblings, 3. There aren't any 4s there. There's a 5 there, no 6s, and there's a 7 there. Okay, we don't need to count data that we don't have. All right, so let's see. What I would recommend doing each time is crossing off the data that we've already used. So there we go. Let's see. One person here on 0, another person here on 0, another person here on 0. And another person here with 0. That's them done. Okay, let's go on to the ones, shall we? So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. Okay, 5. Got to do something special. We cross through it. Okay, you can do a diagonal line. You can do a line straight through. It doesn't matter. Okay, 6. 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. There we go. So there's 11 people. They've only got 1 sibling. Right. Okay, let's just double check that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yep. Number of people that have 2 siblings. Let's start there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and that's all of them. Let's double check. 1, 2, 3. Oh, I've lost myself. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There we go. 3s, let's count them. 1, 2, and 3. There's 3 of them with 3 siblings. Right, and what do we have else? We've got a 5, a single 5, and a single 7. Okay. Right, another thing that you very often see with a tally chart is something at the end that says frequency. Now, frequency, the actual word frequency just means how often something happens. So how often has this happened that we've had people with 0 siblings? That's happened 4 times. How many times has it happened that a person has 1 sibling? 11 times. Then we've got 7, 3, 1, and 1. Okay, and there's our finished tally chart. Okay, so that's tally charts done. Right, pictograms. So I've kind of divided this into 2 bits. You'll see why in a minute. Okay, pictogram just means it's just another way of showing information, but with pictures essentially. Okay, so we've got in year 7, 10 students with glasses. In year 8, 15 students. In year 9, 30 students. And year 10, 40 students. Year 11, 25 students with glasses. Okay, right. Couple of different ways we could represent this data. They look pretty similar to this. So, oops, year, and we want our number of students. Except we don't write numbers, we do little pictures. All right, okay, so year 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, Right, so I'm going to say that I'm going to represent this data using these little pictures of students with glasses here, okay? Now, I'm going to say that our key is going to be that represents 5 students. Actually, I'm going to do 5 students. Okay? No, I'm not. I'm going to do that being 10 students. That'll make it a lot easier, I think. Let's have that as being 10 students. Right, so that means for just year 7, we're going to have just that. All right. For year 8, well, there's 10 students to start with. And then there's an extra 5. So what we're going to do is we're just going to slice this picture in half. Okay, so that represents 15 students. Okay. Next up, we're going to have 30 students. So how many lots of 10? We're going to have 3 lots of 10. Okay. Takes a little bit of time to draw these, but there we go. There we go, 40 students. Wow, I am going to struggle to fit these in. And I've already struggled to fit them in. Go into this bit a little bit. And the last one, we're going to have 2 lots. 2 lots and a half because it's 25 students. Okay, when you're drawing a pictogram, you must always draw that. Okay, because sometimes you might think, you know what, I'm going to have students being represented by blobs on this one. So let's use the same data and let's say blob equals 2 students. Okay, it'll be the same type of thing again. Year 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. You might represent that using 2 students for just a blob. Okay, number of students. Now, I'm just going to quickly pause this so I don't bore you with writing the entire thing out. Okay, and you'll see how it looks. So for year 7, first of all, I'm just going to do the first line, then I'll finish it off on my own and I'll show you afterwards. All right, so 2 students for 1 blob. And then there's 10 students altogether, so we're going to need 5 blobs. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Okay, I'm going to carry on like that. Right, so here's our finished article. Okay, you might notice that I've added some extra lines in. That's to make the data a bit more clear. Okay, because you might notice in year 10, there's a lot of them. So I've done it over 2 lines, but to make it clear to whoever's reading it that it's a different bit of data, I've put it in a different kind of box. Okay, so it's clear to people reading it that is year 10. All right. Okay. Right. So I would pause the video now, make a pictogram yourself just to see how it goes. Remember, write a key always. I do this in all my lessons with pictograms. You must write a key, otherwise it is wrong. Okay. GCSEs are pretty hot on that. Okay. Next up, bar chart. So we've got a bar chart here. It's a little bit wonky. Apologies for that. I did freehand it a little bit. So let's see what this bar chart's all about. So got a little bit of a title, number of kudos points per house. We've got Macmillan, Dorman and Tuckwell, and we've got the number of kudos points up the side here. What's the first question to say? Which house has the most points? Well, the most points, well actually I would say pause the video now, do these questions, see if you can do them on your own, and then I'll go through the answers afterwards. So pause it now. And now I'm going through the answers. Okay, right. So which house has the most points? Tallest bar will have the most points. It is the brilliant Macmillan house. What house is better? None of them. Okay, roughly how many points do Macmillan have? So this is where it starts to get a little bit more difficult to see. So I would say, if I were you, I'd get a straight line of some description and see if you can use that to kind of read off the chart. I've just got a bit of paper here. Okay. Right, so Macmillan, let's see how many points they've got. I would say it's probably about halfway between 2,500 and 3,000. Now, if you can work that out, what's halfway between them? So 500 between them, half of that would be 250 more, so that would be 2,750-ish. Now, Important to point out that you always get a little bit of a leeway when it comes to reading bar charts, because especially because there's no lines on this one, it's hard to read. So you're going to have a rough estimate on this one. It's not always the case though. Very often they have squares that hit each bar at an exact point. On those types of graphs, you must read it off exactly. All right. So for example, if there was a bar there, if this was, for example, split into, I don't know, split into 5 sections, and this hit exactly at this one, you would be counting 2,800. Okay, sometimes they want an exact thing if there are lines that go across and hit the top of the bar. Okay, in this occasion, because it's a very roughly drawn one and there's no lines shown, you can be a bit more. There's a bit more of a leeway. Okay, right. What is missing from the graph? I wonder if anyone spotted that. Now, what have we got here that's actually on the graph? Well, we've got the bars that are straight. They're equal spaced, roughly. I know I freehanded it, but they are roughly equally spaced. So equal width bars and equally spaced apart. And there are spaces between the bars. That's what you do actually need on a bar chart, believe it or not. Now, if you actually have the bars next to each other, that's actually called a histogram. But you'll learn about that in probably year 9. Okay. Equally spaced. There's gaps between them. This is equally spaced as well. It goes 500, 1,000, 1,500, 2,000, 2,500, 3,000. Goes up in 500 each time. You could say maybe that the zero's missing, but that's just an oversight by me. Okay, if you said that, well done. There's a title on this one. There are little labels for each bar. There's a title at the top. But is there a title here? There isn't a title on this horizontal x-axis, so that was what I was thinking was missing. So that, and I guess that as well. So that's just me being forgetful. Okay, so what is missing from the graph? An axis label, or you could say x-axis label because it's the horizontal one. Okay, how many more points Tuck will have than Ormond? Okay, so how many more points? We need to see how many points Tuck will have. I would say, if you read this, it's just under 2,500. So let's say that Tuckwell have 2,400. Okay, again, bit of leeway. That's not exact. You might have written something else. And Ormond have about 2,000, I'd say. Ormond have about 2,000. So how many more do they have? We're going to take one away from the other. We're going to get 400 left over. So I would say about 400. If you put 500, that's probably fine. If you read that as 2,500, I'm okay with that. This one, because this isn't exactly the clearest bar chart going. Okay, so that's just a very quick part on reading bar charts. Okay, now drawing a bar chart. We've got a bit of data here. Some people have been asked what their favourite hot drink is: tea, coffee, or hot chocolate. Okay, we have to make up our own bar chart on this axis. Now, what's going to go along this axis here, along the bottom, along the x-axis? Is it going to be the favourite hot drink, or is it going to be the frequency? Now, on a bar chart, if you're given this type of data where it's just this, this, or this, that's called discrete data. Again, you'll learn about that a bit more in year 8, year 9. But if it's just this, this, or this, that pretty much always goes on your x-axis, your horizontal axis. Okay, so I'm going to write tea, coffee, and hot chocolate on the bottom there. Remember, I need an axis title as well. So let's say, let's just put drink for now. Okay, and that's our axis title. Up this axis, we are obviously going to have the number of people, the frequency. It doesn't matter if you put the label up at the top there or if you put it on the side here. A lot of people prefer to put it at the side because it's a little bit easier to read. Frequency. Okay, right, now we've got to see kind of how many divisions we've got up this bar chart. You can see the squares on this whiteboard. Unusual for a whiteboard, I know. So we've got, it goes up 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 squares. What we could do, if we've got it as 30 being our biggest amount, we could use 6 of those and make it go up in 5s, couldn't we? Okay, let's see if that works. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Yeah, that looks fine. That's easy to read, isn't it? And of course, I forgot the 0 again. What a wally. Right. Okay. And now we just draw the bars. Okay, we can see exactly where things go. T is at 30. So T, I'm just going to make them 1 square wide, make it nice and easy to read. 30. And again, I'm freehanding it. Best if you use a ruler though. Please, please, please use a ruler. Because otherwise it might look a bit messy, like my terrible bar there. Okay, coffee, 20 people. There's 20. Notice how I've given a gap here. Oops. I've done a gap here. And I've made my bars equal width. That's really important. You must make your bars equal width. Okay, hot chocolate, 15 people. There we go. And oops, oh, I've gone well off there, haven't I? There we go. Luckily I'm using a whiteboard. And there we have it. We've got our finished drawn bar chart. Okay, we've decided what's going up that axis. We've decided what's going on that axis. Have we missed anything? I guess we could put a title there. So it could be graph to show favourite hot drinks. Favourite hot drinks or something like that. Okay, title, equal spacing there, equal spacing for the bars, equal width bars, and we've got a great bar chart there. Hope this helps. Thank you very much.